Bounced back against the Kangaroos last week on the back of a return to form from their star Adam Goods. He had 33 disposals and 3 goals from the midfield, and he is in some outstanding touch over the last game. They'll be looking for more of that today, and it should be a very good contest against the Blues. They've got some key playmakers in the midfield, some great run-off half-back, and they'll be looking to stretch out their form from last week into this week's game as we look at the lineup, Spud.
Yeah, Lewis Roberts-Thompson late withdrawal out of the team. Jesse White comes in, kicked 8 goals in the Sydney comp last week. O'Keefe's been in terrific form the last month, 25 disposals, just said Adam Goods. But it's been the half-back line. Shaw kicked 2 goals running off half-back. Malcheski and Kennelly had 78 disposals between them. More than 40 handball receives. No doubt Carlton will have a couple of jobs for those boys, but Kirk, Jack, let's hope we see Goods and Judd in the midfield.
And that man there, as you said, he was in very good touch last week in the twos, and he took up some power marks in the goal square, and he comes back into the side. He's the form forward they really need. And
he's got a pretty good record here at Etihad Stadium. I remember early in the season against North Melbourne, he kicked 4 first-quarter goals. So the Sydney midfield and Paul Roos will be looking for a big job for Jesse White today. He's a big man, he doesn't get any smaller, and he's a very good kick shot on goal.
Yeah, he's a big, certainly, I think we were surprised last week. We walked past him, and he is a very big man. The Blues, they enter the arena, and they've come off their worst loss of the season, a 68-point belting at the hands of the Western Bulldogs. They currently sit in 7th spot on the AFL ladder. A win today, though, will cement that top 8 spot and finals football for season 2010. We'll look at the Blues lineup.
Well, the back half there, they're pretty solid. They need plenty of run. Gibbs needs to use the ball better. Judd, Murphy, Simpson. The boy who's going forward hasn't helped, but I think Jared Wade at full forward there, the big number 30 for Carlton. That'll help straighten them up. But I think a lot of focus around Garlett, Betts and Yarran on the bench. They really need to kick some goals and, more importantly, get some tackling pressure. Carlton only had 42 tackles last week, only 12 in the second half, 2 in the last quarter. That's not good enough for a professional unit.
And there's a key player to the outcome of the game for Carlton today, Chris Judd. Paul Roos spoke to us pre-game. He said that he may go head-to-head with Goods and Judd. It'll be a great contest.
Oh, we'd love to see that. The one the dual Brownlow medalist and one Brownlow medalist and premiership captain in Chris Judd. You'd love to see that go head-to-head.
Oh, it'd be fantastic. Now, you've had some look at some keys for today's game, and looking at both teams, we think that the first key for Carlton would be to stop the running halfbacks of the Sydney Swans.
Well, Kennelly and Malcheski. Malcheski's the most effective kick in the competition. I've got no doubt that Betts, Yarran and Garlett really need to make sure they have a defensive pressure. The best form of defence for those guys is to kick goals.
Yep.
That'll stop the run, but if they don't, they've got to get goal side, because the handball receives from the Sydney half-back line really did make Sydney win that game last week.
Another key point would be the forward 50 entries for Carlton. I mean, they've got some skill through the midfield, but they have to hit targets inside 50.
The last 3 games are going 47%. Now, that's not good enough. They bomb the ball. They launch from the middle of the ground. They've got to run and carry, get it over that launching pad from about 70 metres area. I've got no doubt Jared Waite's job is not only to mark the ball, bring the ball down to Betts, Yarran and Garlett.
Yeah, and a key matchup, as we just touched on, Judd and Adam Goods. Whether they go head-to-head or not, they are the key players for today's game.
I think we'll see a lot of Carazzo trying to go to Goods and then Judd going, so making a 2-on-1. So it'll be interesting tactics. I know both coaches will love to get 35 disposals out of both their key playmakers.
Who would you rather have 35 disposals? Would it be Judd or Goods? Who uses the ball best?
I think Goods. I think Goods last week kicked the 3 goals.
Yep.
Juddy needs to get forward and get dangerous a hell of a lot more. He's the first possession man. He gets the running game going for Carlton, where Goods at times can get outside and really hurt him with his height and his marking pressure going forward.
It should be a cracking game. Time for a break here at Etihad Stadium. When we come back, Dwayne Russell will join us for the first bounce.
Thanks for that, Ron. At the moment, it's Scotland on Malcheski on that wing. In the middle, we are underway, and the umpire gets in the way. Mumford got a little palm on it, and a free kick to Murphy immediately out of the middle. So the clearance for the Blues, and clearances haven't really been their problem. Kirk.
The turnovers might have been the problem, and it was well read from Brett Kirk.
Yeah, you can get your clearance numbers up, but if you don't win the ball from that kick clear, then the turnover kills you on the way back. Pike coming off his best game ever for the club last week. Mike Pike gives it off.
Terrific lead.
Coming off his worst game for the club last week. Kicks to the goal square, almost but not quite sure. Dragged in, big pack around it, and will get a ball up. Yeah, Jared McVeigh, 6 possessions last week. lowest possession number he's had in 4 seasons. He's a lot better than that.
Very sure there. Nearly took a contested mark. Had a terrific game up forward last week with the Swans.
Yeah, kicked the winning goal for them against North Melbourne. A little high on Joseph. Jacobs, Russell clears it from defensive 50. Wait, back into the team after his suspension for rough play on Paul Duffield. Murphy runs the wing. Shortish kick, Henderson, nice pass.
Yeah, well done to hold the ball up until Henderson was able to get into some space.
Betts, he's the go-to man, the danger man, the fire starter. And that's horrendous, that kick.
Well, that's what's been letting him down over the last 3 weeks. Just their entries going inside the forward 50. I see what Eddie was trying to do. You see the slippage there again.
There.
But Ratton was talking pre-game about wearing the correct footwear. Let's hope Simpson's got the long stops on.
Absolutely. There's virtually a landing strip right down the middle of Etihad Stadium, and it is different consistency, that turf, to the rest of the stadium. Close to the boundary, Murphy. Carazzo shoots it back. The back step. Joseph. Russell. In trouble, out of trouble. Jacobs. Joseph. Hacks it clear. O'Keefe could get there. Doesn't. Kirk got there and allowed it to travel out. We'll get a ball in.
Well, Brett Kirk's playing half back today and Cade Simpson. So we've got some terrific matchups in the middle. We've got Kieran Jack on Chris Judd. Bryce Gibbs on Adam Good. So there's the 2 Brownlow medals there.
Mumford grabbed by the jumper. Umpire was wise to it, and Mumford wins a free.
Got off to a good start again, Mumford.
Yeah, it's all-Australian contender for sure. Moore, it's on the end of O'Keefe's pass.
Well, he's got to be. I mean, Sandoans will be probably the first spot. If there's a second ruck spot, which I think there has to be, he's got it.
Sure.
Well, he loves it up forward, Wayne. Very sure.
Coming off a 33-possession game last week, kicks to full forward in front of Pike. Bauer takes them on. Walker hugs the wing. Simpson, best on ground last time these 2 teams met. He got the 3 Brownlow votes. Cade Simpson, Waite, Carazzo.
This is the one they're falling down on, this kick.
Waite, so that's why he waits. Carazzo, Robinson.
Still struggling just to find the target inside 50.
They don't want to bomb it in because that was their flaw last week.
Yeah, it's okay to bomb it in, Wayne, but they'll bomb it in from the middle of the ground.
Pokes it inside 50, and there's the turnover inside defensive 50 again. So Mumford, O'Keefe, Kennelly.
Well, that's 3 from 3. Inside 50s, and they turn the ball over with poor kicking.
McGlynn, the spear. Pike, clean ball by Jesse White. Back into the team this week after kicking 8 goals in the reserves last week. Little Joseph had the advantage in the run to the ball. And White did pretty well. Takes him out. Ball in.
Yeah, he was a colossus last week in the local competition.
Just have a look at this forward set up here. It just had Mike Pike and Jesse White. They had to separate. Jesse White was on. Mike Pike had to stay in the goal square to allow Jesse White to take an easy mark. He dragged his Carlton teammate in there.
That's sometimes you've got to lead away from the ball.
Mumford to Jack. Hacks it inside 50. Pike lays a strong tackle. You can't break a rugby player's tackle. And when he wraps you up, you stay wrapped.
And they obviously haven't played together as a tandem forward, Alistair, and you'd know better than most, getting that connection between each other.
It is, and it takes a long period of time, and certainly I had to work with Daniel Bradshaw and Jonathan Brown, and part of your role was at times to lead into space.
Jack to Goods. Showed this kind of form last week, and he's missed. He missed from 3 metres out.
Yeah, he's just kicked a bomb there. It's gone straight up in the air. Just didn't hit the right-hand side of the ball that he was trying to kick. Hit right in the belly and it's gone straight up. But back on the leading forwards, sometimes you've got to lead into space to create space behind, and that's when you've got a good 2 or 3 forwards that work in the coordination that really helps each other out. So you can have big games without touching the ball.
Scotland, Walker, Russell, and now Simpson can get and go.
It was hard running from Simpson.
Got Yaron in the middle. Pass needs to be good. It is. Yaron takes off. Arnfield's with him. This is the kick, though, and Carazzo can have the shot if he wants to.
That's the one they needed.
And he turns it over inside 50 again.
They're trying to be too cute. They're trying to be too cute. Those options aren't on those 2 options so far in this game.
Well, as you said, Spartan, that was the main problem last week, was they were just bombing it to Brian Lake. Now they've overcompensated.
Goods cuts it off. Heads to Mumford. Malcheski. Kennedy. Played every game this year since crossing from Hawthorn, having an outstanding season. Hanbury likewise a contender for the NAB Rising Star. Hanbury to Goods and back again. Grundy. And now Mumford can get and go.
Should give this.
And does. Shaw. Kickable by his standards, and he knows it. No one in the goal square, just needs to be spot on. And in the goal square, McGlynn got there to take the mark. Could have let it go through.
Oh, well, I'm not sure. Well, he's done the right thing in the end, Wayne. He's marked the ball. So if he hadn't have marked it, Reece Shaw would have said, well, what about a Shepherd? So I think he's played the percentage play in the end, McGlynn.
Yeah, I think if you can take a chance, mate, you take it.
Well, Reece Shaw will probably call it a pass. He gets the assist, and Sydney get the first goal.
Yeah, Reece Shaw is enjoying this little bit of freedom up in the forward line. He went up there, I think it was in the third term last week against the Kangaroos, and he's been very good. We just see his ability to run, but it's good work here. Kennedy was involved, and Big Mummy, he soaked up the pressure here, drew the play out, then gave off to Reece Shaw. And as all ball carriers should do, he attacked the 50-metre arc and run towards goal. Now, he's had a shot for goal, no doubt about that. In the end, good mark from McGlynn.
He's a live wire, Ben McGlynn.
He's been another good recruit for the Swans. They do it so well.
Josh Kennedy there. Mumford, as he talked about pre-game. There's Adam Goods. Rowan Smith, he's had 4 disposals already.
He's a super player, Spud, and he loves getting into the midfield. I think he's enjoying that. He's probably struggled a little bit during the season at centre-half forward, but now he's gone into the midfield. He's setting Sydney Swans play up superbly today.
Should have 4 disposals and a goal, of course. Another turnover going forward. Jack. We've got off Judd.
Actually, it's getting a little bit faster even in the game now.
Oh, turnover back again. Wait, it's to Jack's man Judd. Strolls in from 40, nails it. Scores level.
Well, that hurts. You see Kieran Jack, all the Carlton players getting over and Chris Judd coming off the ground. Jack marked the ball. The last thing you want to do is turn the ball over and then give it to your direct opponent in Chris Judd. He started the game really well. You see the errant kick here from Murphy. Goes to Judd's opponent, Kieran Jack, so he's done a very good job. He just goes back here and just had no awareness of the Carlton player, Jared Waite there. Gives a handball to Judd. That hurts.
Handy goal for Chris Judd. Just saying how they're struggling to have effective disposals into their forward 50. And a little bit lucky, but Judd had the class to finish off.
Pike now in the ruck. There's a free kick off the ball. Carlton will get another clearance.
It was against Malcheski, Dwayne, off the square.
So Greg quickly. Gibbs. Inside 50, that's better. Simpson almost had a big piece of it. Hanbury, Kirk, caught by Simpson. Malcheski, handball, almost a turnover again. McVeigh lost it. Hack inside 50, Garlick, full forward. Off hands, Kennelly. Decides to keep it alive.
We had a PB last week, 34 disposals. Mitch Robinson's on him trying to keep Kennelly deep. Stop that running handball receive game that we saw last week against North Melbourne.
Brett Meredith started on the bench, now on. Goods, been on the bench, now back on. Solid hands. Lead from Jesse White. It's honoured. He gets there and he marks it.
Well, actually, what we were talking about before, McGlynn actually led up out of the space and allowed Jesse White to run into. So that was good work from McGlynn. Didn't get the ball, but actually it was a key play for the team.
It's having awareness of your teammate.
He took on the tackler there. Malcheski got it up. Meredith can go to the pocket if he wants to. Needs to be good. McVeigh dumped away by Murphy out of play.
That's a good matchup. Murphy and McVeigh. As I said, Dwayne, his quietest game since 2007. McVeigh with only 6 disposals. There's some great duels. We've got Simpson and Kirk coming off the ground, and then Betts comes on with Nick Smith. So both coaches going on some really specific matchups.
He dropped into that. He felt the contact and simply buckled at the knees.
Yeah, he'd be happy with that one. Been a sluggish week or so for McVeigh. Just see here, drops the knees.
Yeah, I think there's cause to not pay that.
He definitely ducked the head, Brian.
But you take that?
It was head-eye contact, but he forced the head-eye contact by ducking into the errant arm and knee.
That's what players are getting better at now. They know to put the head down, get a whack in the head. Free kick.
11 minutes in, opening term. That's a spear. They'll lead by that goal.
Yeah, good answering goal. Probably a little bit lucky with the free kick, but McVeigh will be looking to raise his confidence levels today. Quite one last week. To see the stoppage here, he gets involved. He's got to the ball, which is very good. You see the drop of the knees. Yeah, it's high contact, which is a free kick, but yeah, we think he may have had a fair handle in causing that high contact. A little bit sore there after kicking that goal. Jared McVeigh just rubbing that right calf, so might be just a kick from that contest.
Maybe that was a contributing factor to last week's 2-kick game. From the ball up, down to Gibbs, and again a kick forward, marked by Bevan this time. So they get the clearance, but they don't get the possession from the clearance, which has been their story all year. Back to Grundy.
Adam Goods is pushed, coming back onto the ground. He's playing as a half forward now, Adam Goods.
So he's up to the wing. Thrown under that a little. Bauer read it nicely. Loads a good tackle. Goods takes that out deliberately. Could have been a free kick either way. It's neither.
Well, Brett Ratton's gone into the game. With Goods playing in the middle, Bryce Cribbs will grab him. And if he goes down as a forward, Paul Bauer, who's playing his 50th game, will go into Adam Goods.
Back into play, Pike knocks it down by Judd. And got a kick away, but it was too late, according to the umpire. Umpires today, Chris Dondon, Robert Findlay, Sean Ryan. And as we said, when you tackle by Pike, you stay tackled. Grundy, half forward. Good mark at half back by Jacobs. Murphy.
The tackling's going to be a key indicator today. We saw yesterday Collingwood tackle St Kilda in a submission. Carlton last week only did 42 tackles, 12 only in the second half and 2 in the last quarter. So the tackling pressure on today is going to be super important.
Weight short. It's been a focus for Carlton. They were told by Brett Ratton to bring their mouth guards to training as Gibbs heads to Simpson. Big collision. Great mark, McGlynn.
Yeah. Great courage from McGlynn.
Great courage and great strong hands to take that mark.
Shaw can go. Takes the mark. Held up.
Goods has got space to lead him too. He's ignored that.
Called to play on. Took the step. Bevan. He took the step. Back to Kennelly. Floats it up to Mumford at half forward. Nice positioning.
Yeah,
That's
moved
good.
well into space then, Big Mummy.
It's good forcing your ruckman to play as a defender. They really feel uncomfortable when you push forward as a ruckman.
Goods. Use the hands. Brilliant.
That's a magnificent play there. Paul Roos is pulling all the right strings at the moment. He started Goods in the midfield. He had 4 disposals. Give him a spell on the bench. Now he's pushed him forward. And you're right, Alistair. Mumford just gets into a real dangerous spot. More importantly, kicked the ball to a dangerous spot.
And I think the key thing for Mumford is, as you said, he drew his player out, so allowed the one-on-one contest at the top of the goal square.
Missed one from closer than this earlier. Doesn't miss that. 12-point lead.
So just going on with that point, Spud, I think Mumford's role in that was the key. The fact that he took the mark makes sure that the ruckman for the Carlton side on that occasion was Jacobs. He has to be accountable, so he has to continually go up and follow Mumford. That means there's a one-on-one contest. And you always back your forward in a one-on-one contest at the top of the goal square, especially if it's Adam Goods. So that's what you want. You don't want the big ruckman just coming over the top and smashing it over the line. So good work from Goods, but great work from Mumford.
Paul is pulling on the right strings. Goods has gone forward, had instant impact. Now he goes back into the middle, and Bryce Gibbs. So got to have the thinking boots on today, the Carlton boys, to make sure they communicate, especially Gibbs and Bauer, who are both playing on Adam Goods.
The thinking boots. Mumford. Goods.
Yep.
Hands it off to Kirk. Short pass and a good pass to White. Line up from 55. Roos from the bench again, as has been the trend that many coaches have followed since.
Means you've got to be on your toes, Dwayne, as a player, in Gibbs and Bauer.
Yep. White from the paint. Struck it nicely. all the way. I lead by 3 goals.
And talk about players being in form. Paul Roos in super form at the moment. He's pulling all the right range. Jesse White kicked 8 goals last week in the secondary competition in Sydney. Goods kicked a goal. He gets the clearance, gives it to Kirk. The ball use, that's the difference in the end. The way they're cutting through the Carlton defence. Jesse White kicking 8 goals last week. He loves this ground. He kicked 4 goals in the first quarter against North at the start of the season. Terrific goal.
In fact, it was so good last week, Lynchy, that Paul Roos mentioned to us before the main game that if he knew Jesse White was going to play that well in the curtain raiser last week, he would have taken him off at half-time and played him in the main game.
Yeah, he would have been very happy. He's got off to a good start, so he's happy that he's got his start today.
And the ball up, Jack. Turns it over though, Betts, Gibbs, backtracks, Russell, Gibbs, all the way back to half-back to go forward. Little slip on the outer side again. Carazzo, wrapped up after the slip, gives it off. Greg needs to hit a pass target, or go for goal. Tackled but got the kick away. Henderson beaten for it by Kennedy. No mark. Stolen by Robinson. Thought about the slick handball to Betts. Missed him. Caught. Dragged down. Got it. They've got him. Ball up.
Simpson and Carazzo. I think Brett Ratton will be asking those two boys the question at quarter time. These slippages, that's cost them a goal. He could have marked that ball and ran in and really had time to assess. Because he slipped over, he was under pressure.
From the flick down, Judd caught, tackled, gang tackled essentially. And it's hard to believe the players, they saw this last night. Players slipped over all night last night. Surely you'd be wise to it.
I mean, I haven't played on this ground for 6 years, but, I mean, in the players' defence, even if they've got screw-ins, because there's not a real good root system, which is free kick here, because there's not a great root system, I mean, the grass looks good, but because it doesn't continually grow, you just slide through the top of the grass and there's no real integrity in the soil underneath.
So it slips like a wig.
Oh, something like that. You cut through it. Actually, with the screw-ins, you can actually slice through it easier.
What's a wig slip like, Brian?
Well, sometimes you see them move.
It gets a bit of moisture in between the wig and the skull. But I tell you what, the contested possession, this is a worry for Brett Ratton. I thought expected Carlton to come out breathing fire. 21 contested possessions, Sydney to only 11 to Carlton.
Jack. Back to Richards. Hanbury. Malcheski.
Yeah, they've got to hold those tackles.
Hanbury floats it up. Tough one to grab. Pike came hard. Got the handball up. Well played. Bolton rolled it to half forward. Meredith can't trap it. White's down there. Meredith almost broke free. Back to White. Can't pick it up on the move. Goods dives in. White. He's a man mountain. Got it back again. Meredith tackled. Dispossessed. Kennedy gang tackled. It slips out the back. Bauer caught by O'Keefe. No prior opportunity. Crowd want a ball. They don't get it. And a throw against Pike.
There was better pressure from Carlton, but they've just got to sustain that pressure. Because at the moment, kicking effectiveness, Sydney are going at 76%, Carlton 67%. It's only 9%, but if that goes over the whole game, that is a big discrepancy.
And probably the real discrepancy is the last kick for Carlton. They're the ones they're actually slaughtering in their forward half, and that's the most important one. You have to hit targets there.
And Sydney will be happy if Betts gets all his possessions there. To Yaron. Runs away from Meredith, super shoes in. Uses the full 15. In fact, he must have used 16.
Yaron was looking for Carazzo to shepherd. That's why Yaron's showing some frustrations. Look at the umpire, but a couple of Carlton players had to be in the game there.
White, after Hanbury go to Jack. White peels back onto it. Bauer with him. White knocks it to Goods. Well played. O'Keefe from the pocket. Across the face.
You don't mind the fact that Yaron took on the tacklers and he was running. Have a look at the run here. He's about.
There's just no thought of protection there. At the last minute there was Carazzo, but I think they have to really give you some confidence to say take the game on. He was waiting for Carazzo to initiate some body contact.
So from the kick in, Jacobs the target. Gathers, but is in turn gathered. And the ball out of play. Lucas
And with that,
couldn't make something of it, Kane Lucas. Just his 8th game of AFL footy.
getting back to Yaron, it's you don't have to communicate by voice, communicate by your movement. Carazzo was too late in his movement to tell Yaron to run and take the game on. Had to initiate body contact earlier when Yaron had the ball under his arm.
Kurt caught high, bottom of the pack. Malcheski, O'Keefe, Hanbury, Richards. They're good at this. Little goose step from Richards. Sends it long. Armfield got a fist. Shaw waiting back for it. Out of play.
Malcheski's had 7 disposals already, 5 handball receives. Now, Heath Scotland's his direct opponent, and Heath can use the ball really well. Heath's only had the 1 disposal, so I think it's time to man up and stand goal side of Malcheski.
Jude Bolton given a free kick for too high, and he'll line up from 45.
Good players getting involved for the Sydney Swans, which is a key. Mumford, Goods, Malcheski, as you just said. Just see the high contact. Or in the back, was it?
Might have been in the back.
And again, the handball receives 38 to Sydney, 19 to Carlton. So Sydney are really caring and sharing for each other at the moment.
Plays his 250th game for the club next week. Jude Bolton, he is a star. They lead by 25.
A good sign for the Sydney Swans. Concerns for the Carlton side, though. They're not sticking their tackles, especially off half-back, and allowing the likes of Malcheski to get too much run. This free kick wasn't a heap in it, but you take your opportunities, and certainly Jude Bolton, very good kick at goal. Got that opportunity from a free kick and just slogged it straight through. So they're 25 points up already, the Swans. Some concerns for the Blues early in the game.
250th game next week back here in Melbourne at the MCG against Melbourne, his own home state. From Aberfeldy and the Calder Cannons originally. Jude Bolton. And the ball up. Carlton in a spot of bother here. Pike, that's dropping the ball through, surely.
Has to be.
Well, 35,000 here, if not more, saw it, but none of the 3 umpires did.
Well, he took on the tackler and went to kick it, but couldn't get his boot to the ball. Would have thought that's dropping the ball cold.
Yeah, it has been for 150 years. But they do make the occasional mistake. Gibbs got it from Judd to half forward. Ball knocked down brilliantly by Grundy. Takes off.
He's Goods.
And Goods can go. He's got one-on-ones ahead. Which one does he pick? Shaw.
Well, this is amazing. Bryce Gibbs has to be aware that Goods is always going to break the space soon as Sydney get the ball. You spectate for half a second. That's all it takes for Jewel Brownlow-Nurse to get on his bike. The Kangaroos has now got Reece Shaw and Nick Malcheski playing forward.
And
it's
he's
amazing.
loving it, Reece Shaw, after the last quarter last week, getting amongst the goals. I think Heath got amongst the goals last night. Shaw's loved his forward 50.
Superb kick to space as well. That's not as good a kick. That's downright ugly.
Well, when Goods knows the way the ball needs to be delivered, Dwayne, he probably suffered a lot of errant kicks at the start of this season, so you're absolutely correct. Kicked the ball, weighted the ball beautifully to space, but he started the game beautifully. 9 disposals, 4 handball receives, 1 score assist and 1 goal. Sorry, Smith.
Sorry, just on Adam Goods, he's just confusing Carlton at the moment. He's starting forward, then going into the midfield. Are they better off, are the Carlton Footy Club better off going one-on-one, where if he goes forward, Bryce Gibbs just goes with him, because he's just getting out of the loop.
Correct weight, Smithy. I like that idea.
Swans a chance here again. Hanbury got it out. Meredith tackled, dragged down. Kennelly tries to keep it alive. Caught, no free again in there. Huge pack around this ball. Hanbury shuffles it out. Grundy had it, lost it. Meredith tries to duck into a high one. Still got it. Yaron had a piece of it. McVeigh, Hanbury. So another position in this string. It's going backwards. I hope he knows which way he's going. Pike.
Yeah, good mark, Mike Pike. Under pressure there. It was good pressure from Carlton to force the Swans back.
It was a dangerous backward kick.
Very dangerous.
Martin Mattner back into the team this week. One of the 2 changes. If he joined us late, Jesse White in for Lewis Roberts-Thompson. A late withdrawal before the game.
It's just work rate at the moment. Sydney are working harder.
Richards to Shaw. And he can't take the gully catch out of play.
the work rate of Sydney. You see the way they break the space. Matner's a big in as well because it allows Malcheski to play forward. There's Malcheski, amazingly enough, playing on Paul Bauer. I think he's changing with Adam Goods now, Malcheski, which is amazing rotation.
From the flick down. Off through traffic. And he can't finish it off. Ryan O'Keefe only way behind. But you make a good point. That running back line of Matner, Kennelly, Grundy and Malcheski is an awesome running back line.
Just saw that stoppage there. Ryan O'Keefe was the defensive sweeper in that stoppage for the Sydney Swans, sitting out at the back of the pack by himself. So smart play from the experienced on board.
Cade Simpson, but it'll be turned over here. Moore sat nicely for him. Inboard. Bevan back. Kennelly. I don't mind going back.
A great connection, haven't they?
To set it all up again. Moore floats it. Mumford needs to go. Does go. Hampson just as strong. Jack. Bevan. Almost a throw. Back to Jack. Moore. Hacks it forward. Shaw got there. Waited for the bounce in the end. Gibbs manhandles him. Shuffled out to Kirk. Sized it up before he collected it. Shaw caught a little high initially by Judd. Goods. Wobbles it towards half forward. Okay.
Super kick. Super kick under pressure. Adam Goods just put it to a dangerous spot if you're in front.
Gee, they're hot. McVeigh, he's been a little cold. He's a whole lot warmer.
They're running around, supporting each other. They're very excited and they're up and going at the moment, the Sydney Swans. And you just see where Jared McVeigh, who had a quiet game last week, Ryan O'Keefe just thought he'd get his mate into the game and just dished one off to him, and there's a nice goal. They're getting smashed at the moment, the Blues. They're just, the possession count is heavily in favour of the Sydney Swans, 115 to 65. So that's 50 difference.
Well, that's the tactic there, Alistair. The disposals, 50 more in the first quarter. So Brett Ratton can have all the tactics under the sun, but Carlton just aren't getting first hands on the ball. They're getting smashed in every department of the game at the moment.
We saw a funeral here last night. Same cemetery, different burial. Long kick. Shaw.
Oh, he's loving this.
He's loving it. And this is getting ugly. It was there's clearances and there's clearances out of the centre, and that was a unpressured clearance. Adam Goods had no pressure on him. He was able to swing around onto that right boot. See, he runs into space and has plenty of time to look at Reece Shaw on the lead. Now, that's very different to a pressured clearance that has a tackler thereabouts and you've got to rush the kick. So not good from the stoppages for the Blues.
Wayne, you were talking about Carlton that won the clearances. That's something they hang their hat on. It's 13 to 6, Sydney's favourite at the moment.
This for a 38-point margin. And Carlton fans can breathe a huge sigh of relief there. Shaw's had a couple of shots that have been horrible, but it still looks ugly, the scoreboard. 6-3 to 1 goal.
Well, and more to the point, 9 shots at goal to 1.
Yeah.
And we talk about Mumford pre-game, Alistair. 7 disposals, 6 hit-outs, 3 clearances. It's those second efforts from Big Mummy.
There's a let's stop the bleeding for a while signal. Almost Scotland and Malcheski some pressure.
Which I don't think was really appreciated from the Blues faithful in the stands. They're just thinking, please score a goal, don't slow it up anymore. But what Carlton are trying to do is stop the momentum of the Sydney Swans at the moment by controlling the momentum when they actually have the ball. They just haven't had the ball enough this game so far.
Simpson back to Russell, wide. Good opportunity for Walker. Seconds will beat them though, regardless of what they do here. Ball out of play and in the hands of Jamison. Quarter time at Etihad Stadium, and the boos ring around Etihad Stadium. Brett Ratton has some work to do. 33 points the margin at quarter time. 6-3-39. Plays 1 goal.
Well, if they get the ball down there, Kennelly's playing at full back, so that's a mini win for Carlton, but they need to get the ball down there to Chris Judd.
Greg knocked from his grasp. It wasn't a throw. Bevan quick onto it, tried to slip it up to Goods, missed him. Mumford lays a bump tackle. Mumford lays another tackle. He's doing it all. Winning clearances, getting possessions around the ground, and now lays a couple of tackles so he can do some more ruck work.
I know what you mean, Spud, by having Judd pick up Kennelly basically down there, because they'll use Chris Judd on the way in, so Kennelly has to be accountable. But I reckon it's a win for the Sydney Swans as well, because I'm sure they'd be very comfortable to have Judd away from the midfield where he can be so creative.
Well, it's up to the underbelly for Carlton to win some ball and get it down to the captain. That's going to be the real issue.
Well, that's probably what Carlton need, a little bit of underbelly. Lucas, he's done a hamstring. Yeah. He's just back from a hamstring. Yeah. It's kept him out this year, and he's popped it again. He's cooked for the day.
That's a shame. He just stretched out as he's just trying to break away from this tackle. Stretched out there, got that clip of the legs and stumbled forward.
Oh, yeah, when the stumble.
Yeah, the stumble and just overstretched the hamstring, and that's extremely disappointing.
And he could be cooked for quite a number of weeks, given that it might be the same one. Kennelly drags it out. Ball in.
That's a shame. Left high up on the left hamstring. You can see the stumble here. That's where he's just overstretched. And not a great sensation, that.
One of their first-round draft picks. They were hoping that could grow this season. Goods rolls it outside 50. More body brilliant. And the look-away handball superb. Jack got a kick away just in time. Bouncing ball, Jesse White, the man Mountain, Jamison used his body just as well, but he left the ball behind. White, little tap. Boundary line looming. Moore, he kept it in. McGlynn, a few stop, McGlynn didn't. A shimmy from Jack and Shaw in the pocket.
Oh, it's unbelievable running from Shaw. He's up around the wing. And you can see Cade Simpson having a look around to say, well, he's not my man. You've lost him in transition.
He hasn't hit his first two shots really well. But this is probably, you either want one from the goal line when you're out of touch shooting that goal, or from the boundary line, because the expectations are low here, and this is a fair chance to go through.
Yeah, it's the toughest kick that he's had. Gee, they're in trouble. They are in huge trouble, the Blues.
You nailed that, Alistair. He played a lot of the time full forward. You're right, because the expectation's not to kick it, and he missed a couple of easy ones. But it was just a hard running from Reece Shaw, and he started his career as a half-back for Sydney. And he started that passage of play in the middle of the ground and ran forward in transition.
Well, he actually got knocked over in the middle of the ground, got himself up and going again and pushed towards the forward 50. I know what it's like to have the yips in front of goal, and that's where you want one if it's not on the goal line.
Kane Lucas getting some work done, and mass disappointment there for Blues fans. He actually lives, not many players live with an opposition player's parents, but Kane Lucas lives with Jackson Tringove of Port Adelaide's parents. They've been looking after him, and they'll have more looking after to do in the coming weeks.
We saw Andrew Walker there on Reece Shaw. Now, he was the one that initiated the contact in the middle of the ground, but then spectated the ball. Reece Shaw got up off the ground, a second effort, pushed forward, and he was nowhere to be seen there, Andrew Walker.
Blues fans thought they had a free. They've coughed one up. O'Keefe, Malcheski, Jesse White's on the boots. Can't get there.
Well done, Jamison. Good fist.
Does well though, White. Matner has set it up again. Sidestep of Yarran. Little too easy. Back to the pocket over Goods' head. Pike couldn't take it. Goods dives in. No free for too high. Toe poke off the deck. Rolls its way to Simpson. Back pocket. Hoping for a target. Out on the full.
We just saw Chris Yarran up in the middle of the ground there. Just had to tackle the hips. Didn't have a tackle last week. And when you're out of form, you see here Matner. All you had to do was watch the hips, not the ball. Matner showed him the ball. And when you're playing reactive footy, you do watch the ball, not the hips.
Smith to McVeigh, turned it over. Murphy had a piece of it, turnover back again. It could be in the back. Kirk was dumped. He played for it and didn't get it. Greg got it from Russell. Sits it up. Matner came hard. Yarran held his ground.
Protect him. He can go all the way here.
He's got a ton of space ahead. Can have another bounce if he wants. McGlynn tries to shut him down. He takes on McGlynn.
Good chase, McGlynn.
He'll inspire them if he can finish. Gives to Greg. He needs to finish. Gives to Judd. Their only goal kicker so far. The champion can't do it. Turnover, Grundy.
Well, he wanted to do it.
Had to
The option was the handball. He wanted to kick the goal.
He had to give it to Otto, didn't he?
Yeah, he had to give it off.
McGlynn, 39 points.
He's trying to do the captain's thing. I understand Chris Judd's mindset there, but I don't know whether it was the percentage play. He should have given the handball out the back. He was facing away from goal.
Was that holding the ball? didn't really look like a handball from Adam Goods. He may have just got a fist on it. Here's the one you talk about, Judd.
Well, it was great play from Yarran. You see Judd there now. Carrazzo's just in the left of screen. Have to give the ball now. Handball now to Carrazzo. He kicks an easy goal.
Yeah.
From the ball up. The natives a little restless here. Greek kick smothered. Hanbury dragged down by White. Judd still trying to inspire them. Turnover though. Goods. Jude Bolton. Kennelly. Rolls one along the line. Joseph can't get there to keep it in. Ball in. More boos for the umpires.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit for the umpires and a little bit for the team, I think, at the moment. They're in danger of absolutely getting blown away, the Carlton side.
Well, they are. Contested possessions. This is a smacking, whichever way you look at it, Alistair. 50 contested possessions to Sydney, 22 to Carlton.
Yeah, they've been a big
And I expect them to come out to compete hard. Last Sunday against the Bulldogs, they're playing in a similar vein at the moment.
Lucas in the rooms. Robertson.
Oh, that's good. They need someone to stand up and win a contested ball. Dual win. Kennelly and Robertson.
And hands it off. Scotland drives it long and strong.
It was a good lead from Mitch Robinson, and the pass was equally as good, but strong hands. And you're right, Spud. The real bonus out of this goal is the fact that it was on Ty Kennelly. So he gets a little bit shirty that his opponent's been in a very much a goal assist with a good forward 50 mark. In the end, it was Scotland that kicked a nice goal from outside 50, but might just make Kennelly stop running a little bit because his man's getting used.
And it's a dual win there because Heath Scotland, Hanbury stand next to him, but at that stage Malcheski was on him, so it was a double win. Malcheski had a goal kicked on him on Scotland, and they're just little wins. That's what Carlton need to do. They need to build something out of this.
And the ball up. Judd tried hard. Gibbs likewise. Little look away. Scotland thought he had it there from Robinson. Kennedy. Goods. Hacks it long. Bouncing ball collected by Russell. Carlton have some confidence back. Spears that to Scotland, who can go. Beautiful opportunity here. Takes on Jack. Drops him. Might go for goal. Sits it up terribly. Bevan.
I didn't mind the fact that he took on the tackler, but just probably didn't have the time, the space, the composure to straighten up and on to the lead again. Just blazed away to where Carlton players weren't.
And Matner gives it to his man, Kennelly.
All the pressure was on his kicking there.
Yeah.
That's why he couldn't unfortunately get it to Eddie Betts where Betts was leading into space. Again, good pressure from Sydney.
Kennedy. Grundy. Little lull. Smith. Richards. Now Pike is just on, and Waite did well there.
Well, he's Mr. Versatile, Teddy Richards. He played forward last week with great success. Lewis Roberts-Thompson out of the team, Jesse White in, and he goes back to play centre back on Jared Waite.
Grundy off the side of the boot. Kennelly has to run and get it. Garlett runs with him and got there first. Ball bounced kindly for him. Hits Simpson with the pass.
Open forward line. They've got Waite on Richards. Just kick the ball to space.
He's got to use Betts, doesn't he? Sure.
Murphy.
They're outnumbered deep.
Back Waite in.
That's what they had to do. Now he has to do it. He ducked into that tackle. Lost it.
There's your example of attacking the hips as far as the tackle goes. The big rugby union player, straight at the hips, pin the tackle.
No falling him. Arnfield. McGlynn with him. Arnfield superb. Needs to put it on the chest. Misses big sauce. Jacobs, he goes back. Gets it. Kicks it. Misses it.
Head down to Rowan Smith. It looks like Nick Smith's in a lot of trouble there, Rowan Smith.
And it looks like his ankle, Spud. He's just carrying that at the moment. He's just coming off from the ground. I'll give you an update in a minute.
So both teams look like they are a man down. Saw Kane Lucas, now Nick Smith.
Looks like a hamstring he's rubbing at the moment.
Well, let's hope it's only a cramp, but if he's limping that bad, if it's a hamstring, Alistair, that's his day.
It's not a good one.
Let's hope it's only cramp.
And of course the winner of this on course to play finals.
You wouldn't think you'd be cramping halfway through the second quarter, so it doesn't look good.
and Sydney haven't beaten a side in the top 8, Dwayne. They've had 6 opportunities to beat a side in the top 8 for 6 losses.
Matner to Bevan to Grundy, McVeigh. Grundy again, and dropped it. Back in, Garlett, boundary line, and we'll get a ball in. So, had Carlton been able to win this, and if they do get back and win it, it'd still be a chance for top 4, the same as Sydney, and they'd get a home final from 4th. Sydney won't, but because Carlton have 3 Melbourne-based teams ahead of them on the ladder, it'll probably fill spots 1, 2 and 3. It'll be a home final from 4th for the Blues. This is a massive game for them. Ball hits the line, we'll get a ball in.
Because if Sydney finish 4th, Dwayne, you're right, they won't get a home final, but if they lose that first week, they'll get a home final after that. So it's still a great incentive to get 4th spot for both these teams.
Yeah, because you could get a home final second week.
Yep.
Or if you win that first week, of course, you get a home preliminary final. Huge game. It's an 8-point game. The loser of this, though, in danger of missing the finals altogether. Murphy. Poke pass to Waite. Strong.
Good lead. Good long lead as well.
They need to honour Jared Waite. Well, his work rate's been terrific. He's taken the 4 marks.
Robinson starting to get it a few times.
And unfortunately to Jared, they've all been outside the forward 50, and that says a lot about your midfield. It means you have to work and search around that 70-metre area. If the Carlton midfield are winning the ball, he'll get the marks closer to goal.
Scotland tucked into the line. Almost Kate Simpson with the half volley. Lays a tackle on O'Keefe, who had Pryor there. Betts.
Just lifted the last 5 minutes, Carlton.
Robinson sends it long. Moore, Henderson, they're all up. Ball hits the deck. Bevan. Murphy. Can't get the shot away. Again, Jacobs, the man they thought would go for goal, and Walker way wide.
Jacobs is getting in the right spot, but I'm just not quite sure whether he's the correct player to be in that spot.
No, that's right. He's getting used on the way in and the way out, but yeah, you don't want him distributing the ball too much.
It's almost as if Sydney are allowing him to be free as the handball target inside 50.
Well, if you're going to peel off anyone, it's probably the big ruckman who's going to be under pressure to kick the ball.
White flies, and that's magnificent from Pike. He is growing game by game.
Yeah, we saw it last week. He's footy smart. That's what we've been impressed with, Dwayne, over the last month. He's reading the play, he's getting to the right spots, and more importantly, he's doing the basic things and he's taking that mark.
White, Jack, Matner needs to be good, and it was. McVeigh probably made it good because his hands were superb. Bevan down the middle, dumped. Jude Bolton.
Yeah, not a lot in it. Henderson just crashed into Bevan, but down the field.
Bolton short. He's making Judd work by giving it to Jack.
They use the ball so well.
Malcheski got up there. Good punch, Scotland. Shaw keeps it in.
Oh, he's on fire.
Superb again to Kirk. Now he can't kick the distance, and he knows it. He gets back quickly. He shorts it. And again, a slip. 2 players go down, O'Keefe and Russell, but Russell marked it on the way down.
Yeah, he tried to get back quickly and saw Mike Pike available in the corridor, but Carlton players were quick to get to Pike, so just covered that option.
Russell bounces. Oh, slips. They're running like dogs on lino at the moment. They try and turn. Little legs pump. They go nowhere. Betts can't make something of it. Still alive. White dragged down. It's a tough surface, and the players aren't coping too well.
So you just slide through the top of the grass. So I don't know whether there's screw-ins there or not, but in many parts of this ground it actually doesn't make too much difference.
Free kick, and who's it going to? Carlton. You can tell by the roar of approval from the Carlton fans.
Yeah, so there. Rowan Smith, Chris Judd's on the bench. How do we get him into the game? He's only had the 5 disposals. Kieran Jack's doing a great job.
Just having a look at the bottom of a few players' boots there. They're the longer cleats.
Yeah.
They're mouldeds, but they're longer mouldeds.
Kieran Jack is doing a fantastic job, Spud, but we've got to realise that Chris Judd is the best midfielder in the competition, so just leave him in the midfield and let him go head-to-head and let him do his job.
Hanson to Jamison. This would be huge. He kicks across the face. Oh, Carlton. Not sure what he was trying to manufacture there, but it's out of play.
So they were the cleats Brett Ratten was talking about pre-game, Dwayne.
Yeah, they're still moulded on many of the players. Judd's wearing screw-ins, but not many players wear screw-ins. They have two different lengths of mouldeds now. Lynchy, you're more a boot man than me.
Well, that's right. You've got the short blades and the longer moulded studs, but yeah, not too many players do wear the long screw-ins that you used to have, Spud.
Longer the better. I'd go to the property steward and say not long enough.
But as you
Make
said
them longer.
before, actually I don't think it makes a lot of difference. I mean, you'd be still putting them in though.
Richards run down, got the kick away. Shaw, Arnfield, Shaw.
Oh, what a kick. What a
Turn around. But that was a very good contested mark. He held his opponent under the ball. We spoke about that pre-game, Spud. You're in a vulnerable spot when you're in front and the ball is going to carry over the top. Now, Rishaw actually did a very good job. Actually pushed his opponent forward with the forearm, so it wasn't a hands in the back decision. Good use of the body, a strong mark.
For his second for the quarter. Second of the best and fairest last year at his first game at the Swans. Yet another of their fantastic pickups.
He's loving this.
He drives it home. They lead by 38.
Forward entries. They're a super side, Sydney Swans. You see the run and carry. Starts with Malcheski again. He's been terrific again today. Ted Richards takes the game on. It's okay to launch the ball there. He's kicked the ball to Shaw's advantage. Straight on Armfield's head. He could plant it. It was the perfect kick for a contested situation. You would have loved a kick like that, Lynchy.
Oh, yeah, it makes it actually it's quite easy when you're in that position and it's a good kick. And sure, he did it very well.
There's Reece Shaw. He started the half-back last week, went forward. Now Malcheski. They're both players leading targets now. So Paul Roos showing his full array of tricks in his bag here today.
Hampson into the ruck now for Carlton. Mumford still with him, and we'll get another ball up. If he's joined us late, Sydney has led from the outset. Carlton has not seen the lead yet today.
And the problem there also with Arnfield, as he was pushing back, he slipped as well, so he didn't have a good purchase on the ground. Very hard to push back in that situation.
Carlton are tackling a lot better than they were last week, but the real issue is first touch after a clearance. Sydney are going 19 clearances over Carlton's 9, and the hard ball, the contested ball, 63 to Sydney, only 37 to Carlton. So there's the game in a nutshell.
Carazzo, Judd, Bauer, stripped of it. Good tackle ashore, knocked it down. Jack, O'Keefe, Bevan. Doesn't get a chance to have a shot very often. Kicked a few in his early years.
Underrated player.
3 goals this year.
They're pushing forward. Their midfielders and their wingers, half-backs are pushing forward to find space around that 40-metre arc. Not clogging up the forward 50 too much, but just getting inside 50 and being dangerous.
From outside the paint, gives it a ride. Misses. Equal biggest lead of the game. 39 points.
12 shots to 3.
What I'd like to see from Carlton midfield, just play hip on hip for a while. And they're winning the contested ball, Sydney, so the leg rope needs to be shortened. The leg rope should be hip on hip.
Oh, Joseph played on. Ran into Moore. He's had his prior. Umpire gave him a chance there. Moore gives it back. Goods needs to spin and goal. He spins. And he doesn't go.
No, I should have given that to Ben McGlynn. We've seen both Brownlow medalists this quarter ignore the best option in the forward 50.
And he actually acknowledges Ben McGlynn. A little apology. We just see the slip. Lack of awareness of who was around him on that occasion, but once again, just a slip.
From the kick in. Simpson dragged down. No free.
That had to be a free kick.
He played for it, but it was still there. He just accentuated a kick that he should have got. Robinson, Carazzo, little handball. He ducked into that one though, Robinson. It's in behind play.
Yeah, McGlynn, Chris Judd. Frustrated there, Chris Judd.
Yeah, he's been thrown to ground, McGlynn now.
O'Keefe.
Oh, he's in great form too, O'Keefe. He's at the 12 disposals. His work rate's been unbelievable.
Started the season slowly, but getting better as the finals approach. McGlynn, speaking of starting the season, he was hot early. He had a little holiday, and now starting to warm his way into this game.
I know a lot of clubs, or most clubs, go into the zoning defences, Alistair.
Yeah.
But I would seriously want to see just some hip-on-hip all over the ground and force Sydney to compete.
For the biggest lead of the game. Not bad off the boot, but only a behind.
And you become reactive, but it doesn't matter because the scoreboard indicates what's working Sydney's way. We need to change our mindset. Here's Adam Goods ignoring McGlynn there at the top of the screen. Should have given that hands.
Grigg bounces his way from half-back. Murphy, solid hands. Yaron takes them onward run. Corralled against the boundary. White, maybe beyond his range.
He still hasn't taken a mark inside forward 50.
Heads to the goal square. Henderson and Hanson.
Well done. That's super play from Joe Way because he's been playing the forward line and he knows the ball's been coming in slowly. As soon as he marked that ball, he just wheeled in, get the ball to the top of the square.
Yeah, it's all about quick ball movement when you've got the numbers that favour you in that spot at the top of the goal square, and a big ruckman like Hampson can take a contested mark, and you're vulnerable as a defender when the ball is flowing from one end of the ground to the other quickly.
Hasn't kicked a goal yet this year. It's game number 3 for the season. Boy, did they need that.
They certainly did. That's only their 4th scoring shot from 18 inside 50s. Conversely, Sydney have gone in 22 times for 14 scoring shots. That's quick ball movement, and it puts it to a real dangerous spot. You can see the Sydney defence there. They can't get set. If you kick the ball deeper, it makes it easy for Sydney to either put the ball through or grab a man. But that gave Hampson a chance to run and jump at the ball, and here's one tall lad.
35 points, 4 minutes 42 to half-time.
Kangaroos there looking cool, calm, calculated.
Game 550 as a player and a coach, Paul Roos today.
That's an outstanding achievement.
He looks fairly relaxed. I'm sure just before half-time you wouldn't be too relaxed, but he's been in worse situations and reasonably comfortable at half-time, 35 points up.
His last season as coach is Sydney Swans coaching time is about to be up, but it looks like it'll be finished for the final series. Simpson breaks free, kicks blindly inside 50. White tapped it, had it, but didn't really have it. Tackle laid on Matner. No free. Tied up. Buller.
I like that kick from Simpson. If Jared Wade had read it a little bit better, he sort of led to the boundary line initially, and Cade Simpson looked in. It's a lot better direction.
I like the tackle effort from Eddie Betts too, Spud.
Ball flicked down. Carlton have some momentum finally. Bevan thumps it out. Grundy flies. Fist down. Good commitment from both Carazzo and McGlynn. Armfield, Jacobs, Russell. Armfield, Russell. Short and turnover O'Keefe.
Yeah, just a rush kick. Russell didn't have an opportunity to straighten up and hit his target. The turnovers just kill you. They're on the transition now, the Swans.
Kennedy, Hanbury, Jack is playing well off Judd. Goes for goal. Will make him pay. Goal square. Brilliant, Jude Bolton.
Kieran Jack get the ball. Nothing Chris Judd could do there. He looks down and discussed because he was running forward. Jordan Russell had the ball. Jordan Russell put himself under pressure by playing on. And then kicking hurriedly to O'Keefe. And their transition play today, Sydney's been outstanding. Outstanding.
Drives it through, and it's back to a 41-point lead.
Well, Spud, we saw it last week about Swans' transition game, and we also spoke pre-game about Carlton's forward 50 entries, and their ability to hit targets has really been poor over recent weeks. On this occasion, it was Russell who was under pressure from the Swans, but he turned the ball over, and this is the resulting turnover. Your defenders are exposed because you push forward to support, and just plenty of run. They're very confident at the moment, the Sydney Swans. They're running in numbers forward.
41 points. We've made a lot of the Carlton players slipping. Here's what Brett Ratton said to Rowan Smith pre-game.
Yeah, we will address that with the footwear of the players to make sure that they take more of the stops to the boots, not the maybe the cleats. So we'll just have a look at that.
There was Brett Ratton pre-game telling the players they had to wear the long stops, and many of their players still slipping. And they've slipped back to 41 points behind. Jack gives it up. Hanbury playing brilliantly again. He's had a fantastic first season. Grundy wide. Bauer collects, gave it to Walker, in trouble. Scotland likewise in trouble. Tried a little don't argue to the chin of Hanbury. Hanbury looks around and says, I know I'm young, but I still need him.
And we probably noticed more of the Carlton players slipping over because they haven't had the ball anywhere near as much as the Swans, so they're reactive. When you have the ball and you're dictating which direction you go, you're probably not going to slip as much. But Carlton have had to chase the Swans and they're slipping.
Kennedy tried to shuffle it out, tied up, ball up.
Now Malcheski's just sitting off this contest as the loose man in defence, which is dangerous for the Carlton side. Waite's gone over to make it a 2-on-1 situation.
Jordan Russell's the free man for Carlton on the left of screen.
Flick down, Jacobs to Judd. Manhandled, no free. Gibbs, Carazzo, crowd not happy. Judd deserved one there, you would have thought. Robinson, Scotland, run down, gets the kick away. It's a floater, tough to mark. Hampson got there, toe poke Malcheski, superb. Handball slips through. Hampson hassled in. Garland had a piece of it, pushed away. Malcheski, look away, handball, Richards. Kirk, all the way back to Kennelly, and the Swans look at reloading with 2 minutes on the clock.
They've got a lot of composure, Sydney. They were under pressure there, and the handball out the back, release it, switch of play.
Grundy, Matner, Hanbury, Bauer with him. Hanbury got back there. That was fantastic again. Moore, Grundy. Boundary line is sanctuary. And didn't make it too obvious.
Malcheski again getting involved as that spare man in defence. He was 2 or 3 times in that contest. And he just sets up so well, so he's just got to make sure that whenever he gets the ball in his hand, you've got to have numbers around him to support him from a Swans point of view, but pressure him from a Carlton point of view.
Well, a lot of teams talk about injuries and so forth, but the Sydney Swans have used 35 different players this year. They've had their own worries, and they're still in contention for top 4. A free kick to the Swans here.
And they've lost their bookends, Dwayne.
Yeah.
We talk about Bradshaw, Craig Bolton, and of course Seaby, who was in terrific form as well. So they're structure-type players, so they've done extremely well.
Jude Bolton went back to Kennelly, and he allows Malcheski to run with space. They spread beautifully. Grundy. They might have one last goal in them. Richards. Short pass, magnificent. All the way to Moore.
Lace-out football again. Their transition play from defence inside their forward 50 has been super today.
6th season for Jared Moore. Hasn't been his best. He played all but 1 game back in 2008. But he's firmly entrenched in this lineup now. Sends it long. And he bangs it through for a 47-point lead.